What I'm about to tell y'all I haven't heard before, so I doubt you have either. Caitlyn Clark has done is grown the WNBA exponentially. She did in 5 weeks what would have taken 5 years. And as it pertains to draft viewership, she did in 5 days what would have taken 5 years.
Is the WNBA about to implode without its golden goose? The league was handed a generational superstar who single-handedly changed its fortunes overnight, but a series of shocking decisions, bitter internal rivalries, and on-court controversies have left fans wondering if the WNBA is actively trying to sabotage its own success. The fallout following her elimination has been swift and brutal, revealing a league now facing a reality check it never saw coming. The end of the WNBA's brief moment in the sun might be happening right before our eyes.
Look at this little chart right here. The Fever will have over 600,000 fans in attendance total this year, and the second best to that was in 1999 with the Washington Mystics at just over 400,000. So the Fever are going to account for over 200,000 more fans this year to their game.
Before Caitlyn Clark, the WNBA frequently struggled to keep its mainstream attention. Sure, there were well-known players and a devoted existing fan base, but the general public's interest was severely lacking. The league frequently found itself eclipsed by other sports and found it difficult to enter the larger discourse. After she arrived, it became the hottest ticket in sports. Her debut season shattered viewership records that had stood for decades. Arenas were selling out, ticket prices skyrocketed, and for the first time ever, the league had the revenue and pressure to implement charter flights for all teams, a move directly attributed to the Caitlyn Clark effect. She wasn't just a player, she was a cultural phenomenon, bringing millions of new eyes to a league desperate for attention. Clark gave the WNBA the excitement and attention it has long craved.
Caitlyn's departure, do we think that these new WNBA fans are going to stick around for the rest of the playoffs? The Liberty Aces series might be one that draws some numbers. The disparity between 1.8 million and around 400,000 is wild, especially with football season being in full swing.
But the second her team, the Fever, was eliminated from the playoffs, the magic vanished. The WNBA is proving unable to cope with Caitlyn Clark's absence. Following the Fever's elimination, the WNBA's attendance, ticket sales, and viewership have all alarmingly declined. The stadiums that were packed to the rafters suddenly had glaringly empty seats. It was a harsh, undeniable truth that the league didn't want to admit. These millions of new fans weren't there for the WNBA brand. They were there for Caitlyn Clark, and without her, they simply turned the channel. The league is finding it impossible to sustain the momentum she created without her presence on the court.
Saying that she's 22, media training is not there. 1 year afterwards, she's still in the same position.
It wasn't just her absence that drove these new fans away, it was the brutal, often unchecked treatment she endured while she was playing. Fans find this situation even more frustrating because of the way the WNBA appeared to handle Caitlyn Clark. You would think that a player of her caliber, attracting large crowds and elevating the entire league, would be protected and respected. Instead, from her very first game, Clark had a target on her back. She was pushed, poked, and slammed to the ground by multiple other players. It appeared that the league's veterans wanted to give her a harsh welcome to the WNBA, but it quickly spiraled into what many viewers saw as a nightly targeted assault. The most shocking moment, the one that truly exposed the underlying hostility, came when Chicago Sky's Chennedy Carter delivered a vicious blindside shoulder check to Clark, completely off the ball before an inbound pass. It was a non-basketball play intended to hurt. The on-court referees initially missed the severity of it, and the incident exploded online, becoming a national news story. Carter refused to answer questions about it, and the league's delayed response only fueled the outrage. It was no longer just a rookie getting roughed up. It was a blatant act of aggression against the league's biggest star, and the WNBA seemed unprepared, or worse, unwilling to properly handle it.
Number of viewers for WNBA games that Caitlyn Clark is not in is like 3 to 4 million. When she's in the game, when it's her game playing, it's like 17 million.
Yeah. Well, I also look at the attendance in the arena.
Yes.
It's 8 to 10,000 everywhere else. Caitlyn Clark, 17, 18,000. Yep.
This hostility was magnified by her intense, media-fueled rivalry with Angel Reese. Their on-court battles were the most watched games of the year, but things took a dark turn when Reese was caught on camera winding up and hitting Clark in the head while she drove to the basket, resulting in a flagrant foul. While rivalries are the lifeblood of sports, the constant physical aggression directed specifically against Clark felt different to the audience. It felt personal, rooted in jealousy rather than competition, and fans grew tired of seeing their favorite player targeted and risking injury game after game just to play basketball.
Caitlyn Clark. She is the first Division I player, and that is male or female, to record 3,000 points, 900 assists, and 800 rebounds.
Adding massive fuel to the fire was the puzzling, seemingly biased officiating. Time and time again, referees have treated Caitlyn unfairly by refusing to give her the same calls that other players in the league would readily receive. Whether she was fouled on the perimeter or hacked on drives to the basket, the whistles hardly ever seemed to go her way. Rather than acknowledging her talent and guaranteeing a level playing field, officials continuously permitted her to be treated like the issue on the court. This disrespect from the referees was perplexing to watch, especially in light of Clark's significance to the league's success. It sent a clear message to her supporters: the league was not going to protect its main attraction.
All the women that have been calling for the equality, and now that there is the chance for them to start getting paid more because the exposure's up. Because it's her, you have people like, what's her name, Jamelia Hill or what? I can't stand her.
Yeah.
You got these women who are coming on here and they're saying it's because she.
As a result of this accumulated mistreatment, fans started to revolt. Many fans have reached their breaking point and have decided to boycott WNBA games following Caitlyn's elimination. This decision isn't just about her absence from the postseason, it's about the underlying principle. They've seen how she's been treated throughout the season, endured prejudice from officials, and had no protection from the league. Now they're expressing their disinterest in a product that doesn't support or protect its biggest star. The boycott was a principled stand against a system they believed was rigged against the remarkably talented player they tuned in to watch. Then came what many considered the ultimate betrayal. Despite being the most popular basketball player in the country and driving unprecedented interest in the women's game, Caitlyn Clark was left off the Team USA Olympic roster. The decision sent shockwaves through the sports world and was seen by the public as the establishment's final act of defiance against the newcomer. The official excuses regarding experience rang hollow to fans who saw it as a petty move to keep the spotlight on the old guard. It further alienated the very audience the WNBA and women's basketball needed to capture to survive long term.
There is a Caitlyn Clark effect on all of basketball, and especially on women's basketball ratings. Kudos to her. She has elevated an entire sport.
The internal politics and jealousies of the league began spilling into public view, confirming fans' suspicions. Players like A'ja Wilson spoke out regarding the media narratives, expressing frustration that Clark's name was dominating every conversation about the league's growth. There was a palpable sense that veteran players felt Clark was overshadowing their contributions, creating deep-seated tension. The league was caught between celebrating its new cash cow and managing the bruised egos of its established stars, and they failed to strike the balance, making the environment seem hostile to the newcomer.
Caitlyn Clark is coming. Some people think she's already arrived. I don't. I think she's going to be even better. I think that what she has done for women's basketball, especially in this country, has been phenomenal. There is no woman, no matter how great you were as a player, Cheryl Swoops, there is no woman who should negate mentioning Caitlyn Clark and what Caitlyn Clark is.
The WNBA was gifted a golden ticket, a once-in-a-generation athlete who could single-handedly elevate the entire sport to new heights. Yet, from hostile players taking cheap shots to questionable officiating in the shocking Olympic snub, it felt like the league was doing everything in its power to squander this opportunity. Instead of building a throne for their new queen and capitalizing on every second of her fame, they allowed others to tear her down. It seems as though the WNBA is unaware that she is their greatest asset, and the backlash for this mismanagement has been severe and financially damaging.
Caitlyn Clark, #1 in jersey sales, Angel Reese 2, Sabrina 3, Kate Martin 4. We talked about this earlier in the season. I feel sad that Kate Martin also hasn't gotten as much playing time the second half of the season. I feel like she deserves more, or maybe she deserves a different team. How crazy would that be if she went to Indiana? Just saying.
Now, the WNBA is at a terrifying crossroads. The WNBA will have to fight their way through the rest of the playoffs, doing everything in their power to save even half of the spectators they gained this year. Returning to Caitlyn's supporters, they have simply stopped watching the WNBA because of the hate she was getting and the prejudice against her during the major games. Now that she is no longer playing, they are unable to handle it. The question is no longer whether the WNBA can survive without Caitlyn Clark on the floor, but whether it can survive the consequences of how it treated her when she was there.
Cheryl Swoops, all y'all other haters out there, and I'm gonna call you out, man, because it's blatantly obvious why you're hating on the young lady. If she was black, man, everybody be going crazy about Caitlyn Clark right now, but she not. And what I appreciate about it is just that she ain't.
Realizing the panic of losing their audience, the league attempted a desperate pivot. In an attempt to draw fans to watch the remaining games, the WNBA is currently heavily promoting AJ Wilson. Wilson is an incredible talent, arguably the best player in the world right now, but sadly the strategy isn't working. The casual fans who brought the record numbers simply do not have that same connection with Wilson. The league tried to force a transfer of stardom to tell the fans who they should watch next, but the audience wasn't buying it. This failure highlighted a brutal reality. You cannot manufacture the kind of organic lightning-in-a-bottle excitement that Clark brought.
It looks like we're not going to be seeing Caitlyn Clark play basketball again for another 200 days. An ESPN reporter said at the end of the Indiana Fever Connecticut Sun Game 2 that Caitlyn Clark almost definitely will not be playing basketball this offseason. So no overseas and no 3-on-3 and
Let's look at the undeniable mathematics of this collapse. In actuality, the WNBA has completely collapsed in many ways since her exit. Predictions heading into this playoff season had anticipated strong numbers, hoping the Clark interest would carry over, but those projections didn't materialize. To put things in perspective, when Caitlyn Clark plays, she consistently draws in over 1 million viewers. That's right, 1 million people tune in just to watch her. Without her, the WNBA can hardly draw 300,000 viewers per game. That is a startling decline in viewership that speaks volume. The TV ratings have taken a nosedive, proving that the financial health of the league this season was almost entirely dependent on one rookie. Why couldn't they keep those fans? Because the product on the floor looks different without her. Not only is Clark a fantastic player, but she is also a unique athlete that people find captivating. She is a spectacle. You never know what she'll do next. Pull up from the logo or drop a dime pass through 3 defenders. Fans feed off her energy, passion, and unwavering drive to win. However, when she isn't playing, the WNBA loses that magic. The league becomes less of a spectacle and more like just another basketball game, which regrettably doesn't draw the same attention. The league, which was flourishing when she was playing, now seems to be hobbling toward the finish line. The fan exodus is rooted in a deep sense of broken trust. Fans are fed up. They can tell when a player is being unfairly singled out, and the ongoing prejudice against Caitlyn has made many of them lose faith in the league entirely. Rather than encouraging the passion and devotion that Clark brings to the WNBA, the abuse she endured is driving fans away. They are asking why they should support a league that appears to go to great lengths to discredit its most talented and marketable player. It frequently seems like there is an agenda against her, and instead of celebrating their biggest star, the WNBA seems to allow unfair treatment to continue. That feeling of betrayal is permanent for many. The harsh truth is that the WNBA is suffering greatly right now. It is evident that Caitlyn Clark has single-handedly revitalized the WNBA, and without her, the league is once again facing an uphill battle. Caitlyn Clark changed everything, but now that she is gone and resting, the WNBA is reverting to its previous state of struggling to attract the public's attention. The interest that once surged has faded, and the league is struggling with a lack of excitement. They had the world watching, and through mismanagement and internal hostility, they gave those viewers every reason to turn the TV off.